This was outside San Diego FC hosting Southern California rival LAFC. It could not have been a worse look. Hey guys, quick break in the action. I have a new show coming out called The Rick Strom Show. It is going to be awesome. I'm interviewing musicians, athletes, producers, writers, journalists, authors, sports doctors. Go check it out at youtube.com/@TheRickStromShow. Also be sure to throw me a follow on Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky. It can all be found in the description box below. Thank you. Before I get into it, all right, what this overshadowed was something that was historic. This is their first season, San Diego. And this was a win over their new rival, LAFC. But it marked the first home win in club history. Snapdragon Stadium. It was a sellout. There were over 32,000 people to see this 3-2 victory. And both clubs were only separated by a point. But it doesn't matter because I think we have seen over and over, and I'm also going to reach out to those who have studied football hooliganism and the political undertones to it. I'm not saying that there were political undertones to this fight, but I'm going to be reaching out to a few people to have on my show, The Rick Strom Show, which you all should go support. But when I see videos like this, and we have covered this over and over again, what this does is it takes away from everything that we just saw. If you are walking out of Staples Center, if you are walking out of the United Center, if you are walking out of Fenway and you see fans brawling, getting knocked out, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but like the cops not knowing who to hold back from what, it is deterring there are so many different mitigating factors, honestly, that are deterring fans from showing up to select stadiums. If there is no reason for safety and comfortability, and we're going to see this more and more and more, why would you want to go unless you want to partake? Why would you want to take your parent who's elderly? Why would you want to take your kid who's younger? I wouldn't. I remember seeing video after video of Bears and Packers fans going at it. And what really gets me all the time, this is like clockwork, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, the rivalry's getting heated. Oh, welcome to MLS, San Diego Football Club. Oh, the next one's going to be a barn burner. Why? Why does something that should stay, as cliche as it sounds, between the lines bleed out, metaphorically or physically, of the stadium and have fans try to crush each other? Why? I understand that there are certain clubs in Europe and even years back with New York City FC that had a serious problem, and they had gangs inside of it, right? But why should sport lead all the way down to these actions? A perfect example, which we could even go over at some point, and I could do a deep dive on, is Lazio in Italy, and how they are a breeding ground for neo-Nazis. And they are humongous supporters of Benito Mussolini. And the scenes that took place when they visited Celtic FC were abhorrent. But they do it all in the name of supporting their club. BS. Why? Why? You think they're going to be, you think the players and the team are going to be thrilled that some dude has a skull fracture? You think they're going to give you season tickets? I understand that there is a sense of community that a lot of these morons feel when they're participating in this. But my gosh, I mean, I remember the story of Brian Stowe. And that's what really did it for me. When, I believe it was opening day at Dodger Stadium, Dodgers hosting the rival San Francisco Giants, Brian Stowe and Dodgers fans get into it, and Brian Stowe is left permanently damaged in a wheelchair. I'm flabbergasted at these actions. I despise people who participate in this. And that guy that got sucker punched, I didn't see a lot of people flocking to his attention and trying to help him out. And what happened to the guy who did said sucker punch? I know the screenshots are out there. I haven't seen an arrest yet. I haven't read one. A home game that is supposed to be celebrated with a sold-out crowd against a new rival turns into a beatdown of visiting fans, all in the name of being prideful in your team. Horace blank. Awful. Deplorable. Despicable. Terrible. Criminal. So I don't know what the answer is. You know, I'm not one of those people that says, yeah, we should give more money to the cops. We should have more cops. It's a humanity level that we're losing. It is a moral level that we probably have lost. I really hope I don't see this again, but I fear that we probably will. Many factors contributed to now former VP Kamala Harris and the Democratic Party establishment losing the 2024 election, and one of the best stand-up comedians in the biz right now, Nimesh Patel, has his own theory.
I know why Kamala lost. It's because she ran ads that were informative. She ran ads that gave her positions, her decent positions on a lot of the issues. Trump ran ads that were designed to scare the out of everybody, and they worked.
He's not wrong either.
So it has played an outsized role on the right throughout the primary and now here in the general election. And I think the Trump campaign is betting on, getting folks out to the polls using this fear of what could happen under a Kamala Harris presidency to turn their supporters out to the polls. You know, when you look at this issue, like other issues, social issues that we've seen, the fear of what could happen has been effective in turning folks out to the polls. I think what we're seeing is the Trump campaign trying to take advantage of that when it comes to this issue that many would consider political red meat.
The sad fact of the matter is that playing into the hatred and fear already present in the voter base worked incredibly well to Trump's advantage, regardless of the facts and reality, telling a completely contradictory story to what was being presented to the public. Because they live in a constant state of victimhood and fear, the MAGA base craves a target to direct their anger at and a scapegoat for everything wrong with their lives. Patel, however, puts a humorous spin on this destructive attitude.
If Kamala wins, then they'll let in murderers and even terrorists. And as a terrorist, I found that very offensive. Why are we third? Murders, they kill like very specific, they attack very specific people. Terrorists kill everybody.
Patel would also go on to explain what happens when you directly play into the pervasive bigotry already present within the country. and the outcome of pandering to the same clowns who continue to spread and believe said bigotry.
And now white supremacists are acting even more supreme than they did before. That's what I don't like about this new era of the Trump presidency we're about to have, is the newfound confidence that white Americans have. A lot of white Americans think that they won. You didn't. Some of you might have actually lost. But every white guy is now walking around the same way Asians did after Linsanity happened.
Patel hits the nail on the head yet again. We've extensively covered the uptick in the public presence of white supremacists, Christian nationalists, and neo-Nazi hate groups since the first Trump admin. And we've seen much of the same so far during his second term, from literal neo-Nazis spreading hate in Columbus and Cincinnati, Ohio, to MAGA bootlickers on social media and at conservative political events, vigorously defending, and in some cases mirroring Elon Musk's infamous Nazi salute. The image of America that Donald Trump and his policies represent aligns almost perfectly with the beliefs of these groups.
I don't know how you could think you're better than someone like LeBron James when you yourself look like Larry the Cable Guy, you know? I don't know how you could think you're better than someone like LeBron James when you yourself look like Larry the Cable Guy, you know?
A hilarious point. But we all know that false feeling of inherent superiority stems from being sold a lie and having that lie reinforced over centuries with whatever justification those in power could come up with. That's also why all of these self-proclaimed slurs and insults Patel will say are laughable in comparison to the legitimate slurs used against the people who are not in power. Hey guys, quick break in the action. I have a new show coming out called The Strom Show. It is going to be awesome. I'm interviewing musicians, athletes, producers, writers, journalists, authors, sports doctors. Go check it out at youtube.com/@TheRickStrom Show. Also be sure to throw me a follow on Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky. It can all be found in the description box below. Thank you.
Because I've got these racial slurs I can't wait to break out on the white community. Do not tell me where you're from. Oh, you're from Vermont. You syrup monkey. Oh, you're from Phoenix, you sand cracker. It's a good one, right? Yeah, look at you. White guy likes sand cracker. That's funny.
Now, while we need to laugh about the dire state of our country to keep ourselves from going completely insane and hopeless, you should always keep in mind that people like the ones you're about to see not only exist, but have immense influence dictating the direction our country is going in.
Is not our nation in so many ways spiritually oppressed? Are we not suffering the spiritual oppression of the forces of secularism in our society?
The Doge stuff is written in pencil and it can be erased under the next president. And this is a perfect example. These people at NPR and PBS, they literally hate this country. They hate everything it's about. They hate our patriotism. They hate our Lord. And they don't hide it.
We don't have leaders anymore, or they're few and far between, that will stand up and say, you know, come hell or high water, we're going to do what's right. And I think that's why President Trump has been raised up by the Lord to do what he's doing, because he is a no-nonsense leader. He's our generation's version of General George Patton.
All three of these people are elected officials and have no problems with letting their personal religious beliefs impact their policy decisions, as well as having an entire media ecosystem dedicated to reinforcing and spreading their beliefs.
There's a story in the Bible where the Lord told King Saul to completely annihilate, to kill the enemy, and he let some live. Now, I'm not calling for violence necessarily, but we conservative Christians, we're at a moment in history where we can really win this thing. We need to win the war. We've talked about the battles that have won, but the Democratic Party is falling apart. We have to see the win that is staring us in the faces. It's not time to be lazy. It's not time to take a break. We need to see this all the way through, secure the midterm, and then the next election. But we're so close to a victory that when we see it, we'll be able to say only God through his people could have done this.
And rhetoric like this is exactly why we have to take these people seriously.
Nobody's texting more plans.
You're up.
I know exactly what I'm doing, exactly what we're directing, and I'm really proud of what we accomplished, the successful missions that night and going forward. Nobody's texting war plans. Well, I noticed this morning, out came something that doesn't look like war plans. And as a matter of fact, they even changed the title to attack plans, because they know it's not war plans. There's no units, no locations, no routes, no flight paths, no sources, no methods, no classified information.
U.S. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth is lying, which, to be clear, is the meta in this day and age. He's just trying to protect his own behind.
When I heard that they were doing all this stuff on Signal, I was like, maybe that's too modern. Whatever happened to a phone call? Jeremy, in the movies, aren't they always on the phone doing this? Where they're like, yeah, strike, strike, strike. Like that. You get taken less seriously as a country when you over here calling bomb strikes with emojis.
The great Josh Johnson has a thought or two on the controversy in his new upload, which is a must-watch.
Why did The Atlantic choose the phrase attack plans in the headline today after using the phrase war plans yesterday? Because that's something that the White House and the DoD comms shop were eager to point out today.
Attack plan is actually worse. War plan actually refers to, and I think that for in the vernacular, they are interchangeable. Obviously, this is a plan to use military vehicles and missiles and other components of U.S. Military to kill our enemies. The attack plan actually refers to more technical aspects of what is done in an attack. A war plan, it really actually refers more to strategy. So I changed the word. I mean, we use it interchangeably, in fact. But I changed the word because attack plan actually gets to the heart of what Pete Hegseth was doing, which was giving a minute-by-minute countdown of what they were hoping to do. But again, that's a sideshow. They are trying to avoid the issue at hand, which is that they engaged in a massive security breach, and this would not have been discovered had they not accidentally shared their signal channel with me, which is in itself evidence of a massive security breach.
Exactly. So Hegseth, Walz, Vance, and Trump can try to weasel their way out, but we all know what went down.
And no one at first was really owning up to who added him. We later find out that I'm pretty sure Walz added him, and this journalist didn't even think that it was real. It was so dumb. When it happened, he said he didn't know it was real until they actually bombed Yemen, and then he, comes forward with it. Hey, they sent me these plans. He had already left the group as well. When he realized, you're not supposed to be in the room. In the room like, uh-oh. Let me go ahead and notify the right people.
A point that has been discussed. Should Goldberg have left? What else could he have learned? No one knows.
As you know, last week I used some pretty colorful language to call Pete Hegseth a liar. On second thought, I'd like to change it a little. I'd like to call him a disgrace as well.
And on this cringe fest from the Dems, who do not know how to handle their opposition party.
You have these people appearing before Congress getting grilled by Democrats, which just doesn't really mean much, if we're being honest. Like, getting grilled by Democrats is like getting grilled by a step-parent. It's like, you're not my real... But what are you gonna do though? What are you gonna do about it? It's like the first time you get big enough to really step to your dad, and you know you should do it, but you're like, what you gonna do though? I'll show you how to use your phone, old man. I'm training you now. We the same height.
Couldn't have said it better. No one is scared of them.
There's this whole thing. We still don't even know the half of it of what's been going on with Signal, because we also don't know how long they've been using Signal. We don't know why they weren't using more secure methods. And then through, I'm pretty sure, a German publication, they find that some of the top brass in the government are being like so unserious with their data that they were able to deliver messages just from personal emails, old emails, and I don't know, man, this is pretty bad. You know what I mean? I didn't recognize how bad it was, and I think a lot of the general public don't really feel like it was that bad, because people say it's a successful mission. That's why some people think the leak was on purpose, because it's like all they did was leak a successful mission. And it's like, morality aside, of what a successful mission means for a country that, I don't know, like, has anybody checked? Are we at war with Yemen? I don't know. Mission success, like, but you bombed. Why? You didn't even explain why. I feel like no one's even asking why. They're just like, man, do you see that they text the wrong number?
On that first point, it's a simple answer. From Newsweek, in a training video about oversight and investigations intended to prepare the Trump administration and their appointees as part of Project 2025, Heritage Foundation Oversight Project Executive Director Mike Howell, America First legal lawyer Michael Ding, and Tom Jones of the American Accountability Foundation discussed the use of Signal. As they write in the video, the three speakers discuss topics related to FOIA, or Freedom of Information Act requests, and public records, but did not point to Signal as a way to avoid FOIA accountability. Jones would mention in-person meetings and avoid putting anything in writing because it would be subject to FOIA requests. But when asked if messages sent on Signal would count as public records, Ding said, well, that's a little tricky. This also comes as a Pentagon-wide advisory warned against using the messaging app, even for unclassified info. That's via NPR. One of the more fun games that I like to play, because we are living in the time of dumb, is what if the shoe was on the other foot? My God, what a scandal. And it feels like when you have the Jesse Waters of the world, whether he decides to cheat on and leave his wife for a Fox News producer or not, will go on national television and say, come on, don't you remember when you were added accidentally to the boys group chat talking about the bachelor party? They're talking about bombing a country, bro. They're not talking about you guys blowing a bunch of lines in Vegas. I'm flabbergasted. And the amount of people on the right who bend over backwards to justify this. Hypothetically, if this were Barack Obama or Joe Biden, because we gotta keep it somewhat relevant with Signal being newish, can you imagine what Sean Hannity would be saying? Could you imagine what Laura Ingraham would be saying? Can you imagine what Donald Trump would be saying? Mystifying. Hey, I appreciate you watching. Now, if you can, please do become a channel member by going to youtube.com/TYT Sports and clicking the join button. If that's too much for you, you can just go to tyt.com/join to become a member. It helps all of us out here at the Young Turks and keeps our network afloat. In addition, you could follow me on my socials on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate the love. Have a great day.